GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
Tonight's episode, Triangle of Terror.
On my headset, so we've got a little bit something different we're going to be adding to the mix today. This is my phone, right? I've got it connected to this clamp, and it is looking at the screen that you're on. This is Woods right here. Look, if I click on that, it highlights right, where'd it go? It highlights right there somewhere. Boom, see, that's what you're looking at. That's a phone. We're going to take this phone and go live on IG. That worked. So now we'll start the show.
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
All right, so for those of you that have not joined us for this show before, every Sunday we go live and we focus on what has been on Instagram that is focused on the Second Amendment. This week we're on Instagram on this phone, which is now pointing at that screen, so it's going to be pretty complicated. But this way, people from Instagram are joining us. Let's just remember that. So let's keep that in mind as the people from YouTube who are on this screen. For the people of Instagram that are checking this out, YouTube is on this screen. And on this screen over here is where we're going to be taking a look at what's been going on Instagram this week. Boom. That's what we do on Sundays. All right. So now I'm going to flip from this screen to this screen. And that was just a little extra beginning of the show here because we're live on Instagram this week. All right, so let's take a look here. We've got the quarter to a third of our screen where we dedicate to the folks on YouTube that are showing up to watch this live as we broadcast. Once it's broadcast, it becomes a video and audio recording, and we put the video on the video hosting platforms with the audio on the podcast hosting platforms. All right, so I'm going to flip back over to my camera for a moment on the YouTube side to introduce this soda, whatever it is. It is some kind of, what does hopped grapefruit even mean? So it's kombucha, which makes it weird, and it's got probiotics in it, so it makes it healthy, I guess. I'm not sponsored, just letting you know I'm drinking a kombucha soda I got at the dollar store today. All right, so I'm going back from the screen on the YouTube, and there we go. And you're now both watching effectively the same screen. So welcome to the Instagram people who've never been on the show before. You can leave comments if you're out there. And to the YouTube people, thanks for your patience while we introduce the Instagram people. So let's get to it. What we're going to be looking at is our Instagram channel, and the portion of that channel is the saved posts. So if I jump back to Instagram, normally you're checking out other people's things, a bunch of Father's Day stuff happening today, whatnot. When you go to your own channel, you see your own posts, obviously, but up at the top here, you get this section where I can click on my saved posts, and I think these are publicly available. And these are all the different posts that I have saved on Instagram, effectively into playlists. That's what we would call them on YouTube or some other platforms. And we're going to go to this main one. And these are the posts that we've collected throughout the week that are focused on Second Amendment stuff here on Instagram. So let's dig in. Let's kind of go back here about a week. I attempt to shoot for an hour for this show. It sometimes takes 2 hours. Our goal here is to talk about Second Amendment stuff, show folks who may not be watching Instagram the kind of cool stuff that's happening on Instagram. It's a visual platform, so it happens real quickly. There's just one picture, usually sometimes up to 10, but typically a picture or two gets the information across, and people use it in lots of clever and creative ways. So we look at the stuff that's focused on the Second Amendment and try to feature it and feature the folks that are doing that stuff so that they get a little bit more reach, and we get to help share some of their creative insight on this stuff. So I'm trying to remember. I think we talked about it being PTS Awareness Month. So why don't we start with Longmont, Colorado? I had to start somewhere. This says 5 days ago. Oh no, let's see. Now we can start looking at the how many days ago portion here. And there's about 7 days ago. So we'll start around here. Can't mute on Instagram that I'm aware of, so you're going to have to listen to me cough once in a while. All right, so we start off with a girl in a gun club. They posted, I'm just a girl standing in front of a target asking me down 0. So, it's kind of a play on the girl posts that are out there, except this one's got gun focus on it. This is not that good. I don't really like it. The soda stuff that I'm drinking, it kind of tastes like grapefruit, but it just sort of tastes like sour water. Carbonated sour water. How red flag laws work to prevent suicide deaths. And this is a post that was going around that was attempting to actually illustrate how red flag laws work. Then the people who are on the pro-right side, who understand that red flag laws will be used to militarize or to use to manipulate, will be manipulated to be used as a weapon. People have saw this infographic. Basically, all they had to write on here was nope, they don't, and it changes the connotation of the graphic completely. I believe this was made by somebody. Somebody can let me know if I'm wrong, but I think this thing was made to actually explain red flag laws from someone who thinks that they're trying to do a good service by explaining them because they're in favor of them. And it basically goes, this is the dude. He texts his mom that he's thinking about suicide. The mom knows that he has a gun. She also knows guns are the most lethal suicide method, which is a fake fact right there. She petitions the court to remove John's gun. And these are like the different steps that the infographic is walking us through. And we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps in. The 6th step is court needs proof that John's a danger. Mom provides text messages and other proof. Court grants temporary removal of John's gun. And then it acts like that's all there is. But in reality, then the law enforcement armed with guns is going to surprise him by showing up unexpectedly, demand to take just his dangerous guns and leave everything else behind. So if he is truly at risk, then all they've done is agitate, stir up, cause agitation. Well, I guess it cause stress, and then walk away with only one of many dangerous items that person had available to them, and potentially puts them on a campaign of, who knows what. So this is a crazy graphic, and I think it was going around to show how easy they are, but it actually shows how complicated and weird they are, and doesn't offer any even awareness of all the alternate things, arrows that could be pointing out of these various boxes. This just shows the crazy downward spiral of tyranny, really. Anyway, that one's been going around for a while. I don't know where it first came from. This one is from Tony Simon at Second is for Everyone, but he's reposting it from Latino Locked and Loaded, who's half of Locked and Loaded Latinos, who would normally be posting today, but they're going live tomorrow. Next, we get the guy from Star Trek. I can't remember who he is from Star Trek right now, but one of the dudes from the original Star Trek goes, saw some squirrels in my yard, didn't get an AR-15 to kill them. So I guess he's trying to be clever about AR-15s are so horrible and gun owners are just quick on the trigger, or maybe, I don't know, he's trying to marginalize gun owners, though, which is kind of weird. Then Philosopher posts back, squirrels don't murder my relatives in Cambodian killing fields. The communist government did. That's why I like her. She just offers a rebuttal that is effective. Next up is Guns for Everyone out of Colorado Springs, and they're talking about in Longmont, Colorado, the city council is considering an assault weapons ban with registry to raise the age of purchase of firearms to 21, a ban on all magazines over 10 rounds, outlawing concealed carry in parks, open spaces, places of worship, theaters, and more, banning open carry in all public places, a 10-day waiting period on purchases and transfers, and a ban on possession and manufacture of ghost guns. So, I mean, that's pretty heinous. That's a lot of abuses right there that go off and penalize a lot of law-abiding folks who've done nothing and proven that through precedent for years, literally every single day of every single year of every single moment of all that time. Everybody's sitting around being peaceful, and Longmont, Colorado is like, you know what? Let's make everything illegal. I don't know where Longmont, Colorado is, but thanks to Guns for Everyone for reposting this from Rally for Our Rights, which is one of the Colorado Second Amendment awareness projects. Very difficult to keep up with the Colorado ones. From my understanding, Rally for Your Rights hasn't asked for any money and offers awareness more than anything else. So thanks to both of those channels for posting that. Let's see. So next it's one from Rebecca Schmoyer, who's in Kansas. If you are so dangerous that they need to confiscate your guns, why don't they take your knives and cars too? Red flag laws are confiscation without due process. I don't know about that last part is necessary or not, but basically that is the point, really, that if someone is deemed so dangerous, and now we're deciding that as a society that there needs to be no relationship with that person, you can just casually be aware of that person and determine if they're too dangerous to own firearms, then why are they too dangerous to just own firearms? Why aren't they also too dangerous to own a knife or a car or any other thing? Why wouldn't the suspicion of potential issue be reason enough to remove that person from society completely? And that's, I don't know if that's a slippery slope or if that's just the conclusion of the thought exercise there. T2 is saying vote. Yep, definitely important to vote, important to let representatives who are already in office that you are a voter and that you have opinions and what your opinions are, so that your vote, gets a little weight. And then, yeah, that way they know also the inference there would be that you're going to be voting next time around. Okay, next up is from the AAPI Gun Owners, Asian and Pacific Islanders Gun Owners is an organization that I follow here on YouTube or on the Instagrams. They have a lot of interesting posts, so there's usually a bunch of them from them. This one is a post or a picture of an article from John Lott that says, Democrats' focus on gun control won't solve any of our problems. And then in the description it says, just as with so many of these attackers, the man who attacked this one place, murderer, picked a place where people were banned from carrying concealed handguns. For example, the perpetrator of another murder from a couple of weeks ago wrote in his manifesto, areas where carrying with a concealed weapon are outlawed or prohibited may be good areas of attack. And Lott has been on quite a few Lott has been on quite a few interview shows recently, and that's one of the points that he brings up, that the gun-free zones are mentioned in the writings of the maniacs or the murderers. They're getting all the attention, and when people say they want to do something, they're not even paying attention to the writings of the own, the people that are doing this stuff. They're giving you some insight as to their process. So this is AAPI focusing on that element of what Lot has been offering in this iteration of attacks on our rights. So next up is Crump. Posted an alert. This is from earlier in the week, letting people know that the Steve Dittelberger vote was going to be Thursday at 9 a.m. So Crump was one of the first to let people know the specific date of the Senate committee vote. So glad to repost that one. Then we have another one for Rally From Your Rights, the original post talking about that Longmont, Colorado. Now, one of the reasons I post these is to do this weekly wrap up, but I also will push these up to the circles on Instagram. The little dots at the top of Instagram last for 24 hours, and you can take other people's posts and shove them up there from a phone. I can't do it on a computer, otherwise I'd show you, but you can do it on a phone with this little paper airplane symbol. It'll cram it, the post that you're looking at, up into your circles, and that'll last for about 24 hours. So that's a way for you to help spread the word about an issue or help let people know about a page that's doing good stuff. So some of these that are in here with duplicates are because I posted them, for 24 hours one day and then a couple of days later for 24 hours. Next, we have Charlie, Riding Shotgun with Charlie. That will copyright me, so I ain't going to play it. But on Flag Day, he played Grand Old Flag. His whole thing on his Charlie Cook channel is to play the trumpet and to shoot a gun for the percussion parts of it. And he also, of course, drives around interviewing Second Amendment advocates, probably doing some of the most documentation and archiving of the Second Amendment activist community, 2021 and 2022. Actually, for less, more than that, probably since 19. Next up is an article from AmmoLand a post from AmmoLand about one of their articles. After the tragic events at Texas and New York, the Biden administration has continued to increase its gun control rhetoric. While polls have shown 50% of American voters do not believe gun control is the answer, the president has continued his push to disarm law-abiding citizens. He's now suggesting banning high-caliber weapons such as those in 9mm. So he said no rational basis in terms of self-protection. So again, you're seeing a couple of things here. Some people are going to just talk about the obvious errors or dumb things they say and be satisfied with aha and walk away, make a couple of bucks, get some eyeballs, get some views. But others are going to see understand that this is them laying a lot of stuff on the table that has never been laid on the table before. So now it's documented that they don't know nothing about ballistics or the concept of self-protection or how it works in law enforcement, and people that are actually have the ear of those people that are paying attention are going to be able to use these vectors and focus new arguments against their stale old rhetoric. So I post this not to champion the gotcha aha, because that feel good slap high five is temporary, and we don't win anything if all we do is aha, high five and walk away. We win when we understand that this is changing their narrative and they can't walk back from that. They've got it on the record now. So this is just a placeholder for me. If you want to pay attention to the rah-rah-rahs, there's other channels that'll perpetuate that. Next up is Utah shooters. Let's talk real common gun sense, gun law reform. Our children are more important than money, politicians, entertainers, banks, federal buildings, airports, yet we secure other things with armed personnel. Gun-free zones create soft, easy, defenseless targets. And then they got common sense, gun control equals abolish gun-free zones. Again, it's just trying to get that message out in different ways. This one's a little bit more aggressive than some people are going to accept, but the image, the graphic of this one is just a black background with white font that just says simply common sense gun control with an equal sign, abolish gun-free zones. And that's really one of the ways that they can affect, we got to change something without touching our property or our rights. And a true compromise would be getting rid of gun-free zones and then shutting up. That would be a great compromise. Let's see, House Bill 99. So Faster Saves Lives is the one that posted this. Governor DeWine is scheduled to provide an update on the state of the House Bill 99 and what's being done for school safety. According to the press release, DeWine will discuss the training and funding opportunities for schools. This was from 7 days ago. And this was in Ohio. Post this one because it's good to hear that the people in Ohio are paying attention to this kind of option. And then I always want to promote Faster Saves Lives. It's an organization that was created after one of the murders in 2013, and is a rational, effective, educational response to the potential of a mass murder at a school, rather than like a knee-jerk reaction type of response or some fake thing that doesn't even address the issues. So Faster is facilities, administrators, and something else, training, and it's emergency response training. It's not just guns in schools, but it's training on medical, it's training on awareness, it's training on procedures, and guns in school, or guns with, armed teacher awareness and training. So it incorporates a lot of stuff. So it was created by competent people that have accomplished stuff before, and this is another awesome project that not enough people are aware of, because this one actually solves things, and a lot of people, again, are making money on the hype. They're not looking for solutions. They're looking to make a bunch of money this time around so that they can secure their place to make a bunch of money next time we're at risk of losing our rights. These are the kind of efforts that secure institutional facilities, right? And it also empowers the individuals who work there. Imagine how frustrating it's got to be an individual who works in one of these institutions and then is powerless. So this empowers the individual, this secures the institutions, and it nullifies the bullshit cry for we must infringe on rights in order to do something. So awesome for Faster Saves Lives. If I could give them more if I could somehow promote this even more, I would. But the reason I do this show on Sundays is certainly not to promote my channel. This is going to destroy my channel's numbers. This is to promote the channels that are out there by linking to them and letting people know more about them than just seeing their links on here. So this one is Guardian Long Range, which is a cool organization. It's a shooting event that happens multiple times throughout the year and throughout the country. It's a long range competition. It's all ages and all types of folks. So it brings snipers together with just long range hunters or shooters, and people that are interested in becoming a long range marksman or learning the process, and then all kinds of old folks who come along to offer coaching and stuff. So it's a really cool organization. There's a lot to it. It's been going on for a few years. Happy to support them and let people know about the events when I can. As far as competition stuff goes, I think it's fairly unique that it's a fun long distance competition and kind of happens all over, and for great reasons. Like it's helping it's a fundraiser for kids, so it's good all around. So it looks like their next one is coming up in 78 days in August, and it's the first match at the Cameo Shooting Complex in Grand Junction, Colorado. Let's see, it's a destination for the entire family. It's combined with over 60,000 in prizes. Oh, they're doing quite a bit of prizes this time. So I haven't seen this one, but now it's a reason for me to want to go check out this Cameo Shooting Complex, because just by looking at the entrance there, it looks pretty cool. They got some kind of table mesa looking things going on. So AAPI gun owners again. This one is the meme of the little doggy hanging out, and then it's like he's like in some kind of burning cafe, and then he's saying this is fine. That's been around for a while. This one says Europeans, Canadians, and Australians telling Americans they need stricter gun control after they've been locked in their homes, trampled by horses, sent to internment camps, and had their bank accounts frozen by their governments. So in other words, they're in denial, and they're trying to suggest that everybody else do what got them into the situations they're denying themselves are in. So and it says, another great day to be alive and have the rights that we have. So I don't know what they were posting that, if it was in reaction to something, but puppy commercial or a puppy cartoon, so it's getting reposted. So gun policy, or FPC posted this one this week, and it's been going around like a virus. So it's the FUD slope. They love to, divide and alienate the community. So do it, fracture the community. That's a great way to win votes and influence people or something. So FUD slope. I support the Second Amendment, but then we need to reach common sense legislation, and then it's only 18 to 20-year-olds, and then it's like this is a good start. So it's got basically Elmer Fudd starting off being normal, hanging out, then it's got him being a little weird, probably in some fight with Bugs Bunny or something. Then it's got him with the droopy barreled shotgun that somebody melted or something, and then it's got him falling off a cliff, and then it's got turn your guns to the ATF, or turn your guns over, or the ATF will burn down your house with the Waco thing burning here. So it's a decent graphic, but like I say, it just divides the community. It's pointless. So you want to suggest that, we should blah, 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 and everybody should pay you. Well, then could alienate all the people. But if your goal is to say, knock down the big thing so that we're the only thing standing, it works to accomplish that. That's kind of a weak way to do it. And I don't think they have to resort to that. Plus, it's helping Disney or something, isn't it? Or is that Warner Brothers? Can't keep track of them. So FTA Protect, that is the Firearms Trainer Association, a pretty interesting organization made up of competent and respected firearms instructors. They do a couple of different things. I have to eventually get them on and start doing some interviews to find out more about the goals and the kind of reasons for the association. But from what I understand, it seems pretty cool. And this is, they don't post very often, so it's just an opportunity to spread the word about them. I'm not sure, I've heard of Steve Moses before, but Steve Moses interviews FTA member Shane Kerwin of Personal Survival Solutions, who I have not heard before. So it's just an opportunity to promote them. I'm going to take the chevron off of there because I don't know who those people are. I'm not necessarily endorsing them, but I do want to use that flag to get it up into this show so I can mention them. Another one from gun policy, and it's hard to be against gun policy or be for gun policy because they do so much stuff and it's so diverse that they'll piss you off, but they'll also make you smile and make you happy. So they do some good and they do some lame shit. So I try to ignore the lame shit and get on with it, although they can't ignore the lame shit of other organizations, which is their lame shit. So what are you going to do? So Manchin and Tester pledge support for Biden's ATF nominee and major steps toward confirmation. And then, so I don't know, I guess this is, this one must work for people that pay attention to news. I don't know enough of these names. I don't know who these people are. So it doesn't help me at all. It's just I just put this one up again to focus on the way that FPC is intensely putting out a lot of content to get things going. And if you look, I don't think we'll talk about it in this show, but if you look at how much money the different organizations make, FPC is doing all this on a tiny budget. They're doing it on cents compared to they're doing it for nickels where everybody else is working with $20 bills. So I'm not giving them any crap. They're doing all right. I just don't agree with 100% of what they're doing. So next up, Dragon Mans. Dragon Mans is a national treasure. This is a post that he posted 4 days ago. Today is a special day at Dragon Mans. We honor the 10-year passing of our beloved co-founder, wife, and mother, Terry. Were it not for Terry, Dragon Mans would certainly not be here today. She managed all of it effortlessly until her passing on June 14th, 2012. We miss her vibrant spirit and positive energy she brought to work for almost 30 years. She was more than just an owner to customers. She was a friend and a familiar face when they walked in. She made friends with soldiers stationed here without family and invited them into her home during holidays. She served on the board of community commissioners and even made chairman of the board. Terry's vocal contribution and decisions were always fair and practical. She also helped guide half the museum tours with Mel and was an NRA certified firearms instructor, offering classes for many years. She was an amazing mother and wife and found a way to balance work and her personal life. Terry will always be remembered for her entrepreneurial spirit and setting an example for making something out of nothing. When her and Mel moved here in 1982 from Long Island, there was a bed of grass field to nothing else. They did not have a website, social media, and only advertised in the yellow pages. Terry did not have a website until 2010. We honor her today and every day. No one will ever take Terry's place or measure up completely. She was one in a million. We have a memorial on display in our museum and many photos up front. If you want to come into the store, Terry will always be honored and remembered. So as long as Dragonmans is a staple of our community, she worked half of her life to see it become a success. And we hope to make her proud for many years to come. Then June 14th was Flag Day. It's a pretty good post for Flag Day. They didn't put it on the ground. They didn't throw nothing on it. They didn't write on it. They just looked up at it and let the sun shine through it. Pretty good. Oh, that's right. That was Wheelchairs for Warriors, an awesome organization that does what it says. It gets mobilization for people that have difficulty maneuvering, getting around. What the fuck is this? I don't know how that happened. I must have fallen asleep. Sorry. API gun owners. The API needs to take this to heart. If violent crime is to be curbed, it is only the intended victim who can do it. The felon does not fear the police, and he fears neither judge nor jury. Therefore, what he must be taught to fear is his victim. And that was from Jeff Cooper. Jeff Cooper was a cop, Marine, and the first school for firearms, defensive firearms education, gun sight. So it's a little tougher than most people can handle, but it's a good quote. They quoted a picture of it over here and then typed it out over here too. So good work with AAPI posting this, but then also the way that they did it was worthwhile. All right, so next up is AAPI again. And this one is somebody from Twitter, I guess. Red flag laws are a weapon to use against anyone they decide to classify as mentally ill. That's pretty much the concept. So API's comment to that was people saying red flag laws just need to be enforced better is a joke. The government can't even enforce the laws they already have on the books. So that's an interesting take on it. People saying red flag laws just need to be enforced better is a joke. So that's interesting. I kind of agree with that because it's never a good idea to say, oh, the laws we already have aren't being enforced enough. Let's just enforce those laws more because then scoundrels are going to scoundrel, right? So let's remove some laws and let's give respect to people and let's change the reasons that the few violent people are violent and see what happens because, this is another post it's one of the reasons red flag laws suck is because they are mashed potatoes or pudding or soup or something. You can't really figure out what they are and get rid of them. They kind of take this, they become different things depending on how you talk about them. And because they're not used every day and they're used rarely, they're more of almost a theoretical thing. When they are used, it's pretty heinous. So next one is another quote from Jeff Cooper. I wonder why I favorited so many of these, but anyway, it's a good one. An unarmed man can only flee from evil, and evil is not overcome from fleeing from it. And again, they require someone to be motivated for self-protection. And it's interesting that AAPI gun owners is posting these because when I've had conversations in the past, occasionally when you can find people over the years to have a real conversation about self-defense or guns or something, or if it's about guns and it gets to self-defense, I have talked to people who have said that it's, if it's my time, it's my time. And that typically, but a couple of times that's been, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like the people that are saying that typically come from I don't know what to say, if it's like a religious thing or if it's a social thing, if it's from, but it's usually from the Asian mindset. Is that the way to say it? Or the philosophy. And I don't know enough about the religions and stuff or the philosophies, but that concept of like, let's all just, if it's my time, it's my time. That doesn't kind of mesh with the unarmed man can only flee from evil, because then I think that concept would be the evil is, decide it was there for a reason, and blah blah blah. What should happen should happen. So it's tough. It's do you have self-determination, or is it all already set in stone? Another one from API. Although firearms were used in about 74% of homicides, they comprise less than 9% of violent crimes. The vast majority of violent offenses, including robberies, rapes, and other sex crimes, almost always involved other weapons or no weapons at all. And that's a quote from the Center Square, which is, I guess, some kind of news thing. And again, I posted this one because it's an interesting statistic. It's an interesting perspective on it. They often will say gun crimes are the highest percentages of crimes with a gun or something. They use the stats to suggest that everything is sky's falling, when in reality, well, we all know heart disease is the number one, but accidents and falls and swimming pools and traffic, all the other things that are causes of death are way beyond firearms. So again, while 74% of homicides in 2019, they were 9% of violent crime. So in other words, there's a heck of a lot of violent crime compared to actual deaths or actual homicides. And since almost none of that is done with a firearm, it's actually doing a disservice to focus on the firearm. You're actually not paying attention to what you should be dealing with potentially as someone in a position to suggest you should be dealing with that kind of social issues or whatever. We've got the 70th. Well, today is the 70th anniversary of the Green Berets, the U.S. Army Special Forces. This was a post earlier in the week, kind of letting people know that it was coming. This one is again from AAPI. This last one was from that last one with the coin was from the Green Beret Foundation. That's an organization that supports the families and dependents, or the descendants, the kids of Green Berets. Good organization, definitely worth checking out. Then we've got AAPI again. Breaking news: Biden cuts off 30% of the 223 supply. So that's an article from Truth About Guns, and then this is AAPI commenting on it. The motivation here is obvious. The administration is attempting to further spike the price of ammo, squeeze on the owners of America's favorite rifles, the scary black ones that the president assures us are only good for killing people and taking down Kevlar vested wear and deer. And, I'm rather watch news from something like Truth About Guns from AAPI, so I don't have to go to 6 different sources. This was a neat one from the Titan Missile Museum here in Tucson, the last of the missile silos that's open as a museum, open to the public. We also have the Air Museum, which is one of the better Air Force museums here in the U.S. And they had taken the Huey from the Titan Museum, the Missile Museum, and brought it over to the Airplane Museum to fix it up and paint it up and get it all nice. And then I guess they brought it back out the other day. Out of the 16,000 Hueys built from 56 to 87, there were only about 100 of these F models. These were specifically designed to support the Air Force Titan Minuteman sights. The first F model prototype was built in 1964. So I guess there's only 100 of these Fs. So there were 6 squadrons in 3 different states. So there was 9 times 2 times 3. So I forget how many silos that was, but I guess they needed a helicopter on each silo, or I don't think they stayed on the silo. So I guess they just had a whole bunch of helicopters nearby. But I've always enjoyed it. It's a cool helicopter. It's all painted Air Force blue. You don't see those very often. And you can go touch it. It's just out in the open like that. This is one of the better memes I've seen. I've seen it a couple of times this week, so I don't know who made it. But Arms Room Radio out of Florida, I think. Mike was the one that posted this one, and it's the Trojan horse meme that's been around for a while, where the person's bringing in the Trojan horses that says progressives, Then it has the red flag laws is the Trojan horse. And then inside the Trojan horse is everyone we don't like gets a red flag. And that's pretty much what we're talking about with red flags. It's just oh, you know what? We're just going to make it where, we can just say who can and can't own a gun. So who cares what the gun laws are if you can just, after the fact, say, oh, yeah, anybody who wants a gun is crazy. And therefore, everybody who wants a gun can't own a gun. It's that easy to use red flags to end run around the constitutional end of things. Next up is Minuteman Moment. So Minuteman Moment is one element of the Gun Owners of America. It says, while our nation bleeds out while gun control remains dead on arrival in the Senate. And this is from Reason Magazine. And this was from 2020, the year gun control died. And then this next article is from Business Week, why gun control is basically dead, a year after Newtown. So this was from 2013. And then why gun control is doomed. And I'm guessing that's also from a long time ago. So I think what the idea here is to have these articles that go back in time. They didn't put dates on them, so you don't know that. But it says, remember any of these headlines? Despite the media's claims, gun control is alive and well in the United States. As long as gun-grabbing politicians are in power, it will never die. Don't let headlines declaring the death of gun control pacify you. We must passionately defend our Second Amendment rights. DC politicians are hoping we won't. So there's a whole bunch more ones here, but again, not all of them have dates on them. Some of the dates, none of these have dates, but it's just a bunch of screen captures of headlines from different newspapers around the country. Next up is from Gun Policy, FPC. This one says, Steve Dettelbach alert. The nomination process is going to the Senate floor today. So this one was from Thursday morning. So, a bunch of posts throughout the week letting people know it's coming. And then in the morning of, letting people know it's there. I don't really mention how many hits these things are getting because I'm not doing a real representative. I'm doing a very random sampling of the posts out there. But somebody, if they were interested in actually contributing to the knowledge base out there for Second Amendment stuff, it could be interesting to look at some of the strategies and campaigns that the different organizations are using and then monitor from the outside, from our side without having the analytics, how many people are looking and how many people are commenting. Both of those are indications of how popular a post is or if a post is, hitting their finger on the pulse. And could be interesting. Not interesting enough for me to do it, but might be interesting for someone who's looking for something to do. There's stuff in Rhode Island. So FPC is talking about, this is from a couple of days ago, Rhode Island alert, demand a veto the gun control package that has reached Governor McKee's desk. So it looks like a bunch of heinous crap is happening in Rhode Island for whatever reason, like 16 people decided the other 12 people can't own guns or something. And how are you going to get the word out to Rhode Island? So that's an attempt, I guess. Again, letting people know that the committee vote was happening. It did end up at 11-11, which means it's not over. That's not nice. Her name is Schmoyer. So the Diddlebook vote was 11-11, and senators still need to be talked to because whenever they actually decide what they're going to decide, it'll now be done on what they think they should do. And, that's going to be determined by how much negative or positive, reaction they'll get from that. Now we get Rebecca Schmoyer posting from, this is just a post. It's kind of loud, so I'm not going to play it, but it's just her being introduced and her starting a conversation or a testimonial, I guess, back in March. So it says, yes, I've testified with Kansas legislators in Topeka before committee. I will be doing it again. Hopefully next time it will be in representation of District 59. So Rebecca announced earlier this, a couple months ago, maybe a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, that she's running for office in Iowa, District 15, in Kansas, District 59. So this, I guess, is the efforts to get the word out about that. There's that really cool looking Huey F again, UF-1AF. So, yeah, they look pretty neat. They look like an old 70s helicopter. This was when it was at the airplane museum before it got shipped over. I'm not going to play this whole thing, but this is Chris chatting about these lever guns. It's kind of neat. I don't watch reviews very often, but I know Chris, so every once in a while when he does something like this, I'll watch a little bit more of it. This one is 15 minutes long, so if you watch the whole thing, he's basically doing a review. And he's got a couple of friends, I guess, or people he knows that are putting together different parts and stuff to give these lever guns more, use, more accessories that make them useful. So kind of neat. And of course, he's doing it up on his ranch, so that part's pretty cool. Sorry about that. I don't like posts that just do this kind of crap. It makes everybody upset and agitated because, stuff happens, but these kind of posts make it seem like it happens constantly. But that is an interesting post. I don't watch channels that do these kind of posts, and whenever these are up, I don't usually watch them. This one happened so quickly or something, I ended up watching it. It's only 37 seconds long, but that one's pretty wild. Those kids drive around a corner, turn the corner so fast they get up on two wheels, and then because of that they can't steer anymore. They start to roll, and they roll down a street. Luckily they don't hit nobody, and then they hit this tree, smash up whatever that vehicle they more than likely stole, and then owner of the house is like, what the hell? Comes out and is like, nope, runs back in the house. First cop car, second cop SUV, third cop SUV, another cop truck, and another cop. Kids pour out of the SUV that wrecked and start hauling ass, and all them cops start following, and then they've got the dog coming. So them kids are doomed, and that dog's gonna get some exercise and a couple of nibbles. But crazy, and that can happen just wherever, because obviously there's some kind of chase, some kind of something. More than likely, you don't get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 cop cars full of cops after you by just robbing a bank or something. So they're doing something heinous, and they're going to pay for it. But whoever owned this house is minding their business. That's why we have to be ever vigilant. You don't get to choose when weird shit happens in the world. Now, that could have been a truck who somebody was distracted by looking at the TikToks and smashed into something and caught on fire, right? It could have been a milk truck flipped over and a bunch of kittens run up, and you can't even go outside because there's too many kittens out there. Like, you never know what's going to happen. It's just an indication. It's just a post to put that out there. Although I'm not trying to scare you. This doesn't happen every freaking day to everybody. You know who it happens to every day? Them cops. Every single day they got to deal with this kind of shit. And then you go, hey, how come you ain't perfect constantly? Well, from 5 minutes ago, we just were jumping out of a thing, watching a bunch of kids smash into a tree and run down a street, probably shooting guns or whatever. So everybody's got stressful lives. Let's not forget that. All right, Amy Schmoyer, talk about a stressful life. I don't know if she gets paid enough to do whatever she's doing, but how many people, show of hands, how many people saved gun owners' rights this year? She'd be raising her hand. So this is AAPI. It says the roots of June kid gun violence, and it's not guns. How to solve these problems with real solutions. And basically posting to Amy's testimony for 5 minutes or something. This was from the second day where the less testimony, I think. Or no, this was from the first day. It's not a video. But anyway, they're linking to a video from the Heritage Foundations, where I guess is where Amy works for. All right. Then we got FPC again. So that's what FPC is putting out there. It's definitely different than what a NRA would be putting out there or is putting out there. It is what it is. I put stuff up there not because I endorse everything, but because to show people what's going on out there. So then we got Ed posting. Oh, this is fucking horrible. So is there a way to make this bigger? No, good. So you don't want to see this anyway. One of the many collectives of mothers looking for their missing sons and daughters, doing a job that the government can't do or won't. They walk through every vacant lot or known dumping ground looking for human remains or of any kind to try and identify as many victims as they can to give families closures. So this is Ed chatting, I guess, with some of the moms that have gathered together to look for their own children in Mexico in the vacant lots. People go, oh, guns are scary and blah, blah, blah. The blade, every blade of grass isn't about like whatever imperial Japan coming after us. It's all those effers that are just gangsters in cartels and shit. When they come in and just take over towns, that's because the people don't have any means to defend themselves. It's real easy to be a crazy gang, cartels or whatever, organized crime, when people are subjected to being a victim class. So people don't want to look at Mexico, and they're never going to look at Mexico in any of the statistics. Mexico is not a peer country to them, even though they have the largest international border with them and some of the largest, ocean borders with everybody. So they're in denial and they're delusional. So don't let them own the facts or the battlefield. All right, next up is Ginny. This is this girl that I followed that's a coach and a shooter, I think an Olympic shooter, or at least a international competition type of shooter. And in this case, I think she's talking about coaching this group. And if you look, that's a group of a bunch of girls. So, there's a bunch of people getting grants. There's a bunch of people who are learning to work as teams and stuff. And if guns are their thing and shooting is their sport, then, what I'm saying, that's a heck of a lot of infrastructure and a lot of stuff that's happening out there. And there are people that are supporting that. Speaking of infrastructure and support, Sharon was a guest on with Walk the Talk America this week. So she went on, and this is letting people know that if a politician, she's posting this, and it says, even though I cannot be as active as before, my stand does not change one bit on this. 2A Absolute is a bellwether on how other human rights are respected by politicians from local to federal. So in other words, if a politician, well, here, let's let her say it. If a politician cannot be trusted to not meddle in my ability to defend my life against rape, murder, and assault, how can I trust them to not violate any other human right? And that's a tactic that many can probably get behind when you talk about guns being a civil right or a human right. They go, what does that even mean? Sharon has the ability to articulate that really well. So for various reasons, she's going to be stepping down from her efforts. She's been very ambitious and in the game a lot over the years. And she had an interview with Walk the Talk America. And I believe I haven't listened to it yet, but she mentioned some of the reasons why she's stepping down from being as active as she has been. Then we get another activist, Stephen Halbrook. Earlier this month, I was interviewed by Newsmax about Biden's laundry list of proposed gun bans. Nothing that he proposed would have done anything to stop a tragedy like the latest school murders. Watch my full interview, 66 minutes, 7 minutes on YouTube channel, and the title is Newsmax Interview. All right, so again, Stephen Holbrook, writer, author, author and researcher, and now expert witness, so to speak, like getting interviews and stuff as a researcher in the area of gun rights. So Jera Clearing the Chamber has posted, when police departments do gun buyback BS, they're using. She often has an interesting and clever perspective on some of this stuff. And if you're following her channel, you know that a bunch of people following her are probably, the girl versions of Colion Noir. So, a bunch of people with a bunch of money and playing with toys and just starting out their lives and having a lot of fun and doing pretty well at it. So having her with such a deliberate message reaching all them folks is awesome. Then we have RTAC. Every time an American chambers around in an AK, Captain America weeps. It's a good one. So RTAC. Does he do videos on the regular? I know he does videos. He's often in people's chats and stuff. Then we got She Fires, posted, one of the few people posting throughout the month for Every Second Matters. She grabbed a cup over at the print on demand store. Looks like one of the metal cups. I've only seen like 2 of these get sold, so I appreciate her buying it for one. I think we got $5 or something, so thank you. But letting us know about the cup, because that's the other thing. So, it's a metal cup. That sounds pretty good, but what if it's garbage or something? So it sounds like it works pretty good. Like she digs it. So thanks for that, and thanks for posting it. She did a bunch of kind of classy coffee posts. I don't really ever do that stuff, so it's always cool to have people contributing in their way to the Every Second Matters project. My sister's keeper is a female instructor, Georgia? I don't know where, but this is for National Range Day, June 19th in Maryland. So this is from 10 to 3 at the Country Club. And I didn't see very many posts about that. So I figured this one would be an interesting one. It's in Maryland at Country, Maryland. Oh, I didn't even know they had a page. I found them when I was researching the for the 50 States of 2A book. So I'll follow them. They're like I said, I found that range whenever I was researching. So that's interesting. So then but they're talking about Range Day. So Gun Owners America is sponsoring it. There's going to be range days all over the country, though. So check it out. And if you got time, go shooting. Let's see. Next up is Triggerology, an instructor out of California. So Caroline is saying to teach 8-year-old students who then go to shoot a bunch of children, blah, blah, blah. At least you train them to do it more efficiently. So in other words, somebody doesn't understand or understands and is trying to obfuscate, confuse everything, or it's just a dingus. But either way, putting out, potentially liable, like just wrong information that's marginalizing, right? So Triggerology is defending gun ownership, saying, I invite you to visit my Instagram and take a look at my students, train good people, many whom were women, to empower themselves. Are you saying I shouldn't? And these kind of challenges, I guess, there must be somebody out there doing it, I guess. It's good to know people are doing it so that people don't just feel justified in their crazy positions. But we never see too many, or we rarely see answers or replies to these things. So I'm guessing that this is a virtue signal and this is a reply to the virtue signal. So, whether or not that creates a conversation or encourages some kind of back and forth would be interesting to see. I just posted this because we had a conversation. Somebody was going down to Texas and was asking about where to go. And I can't remember who that was a couple of days ago, but Shoot Smart is one that I recommended in the Dallas, Fort Worth area. It's a bunch of ranges that are like a chain of shooting ranges. I've been to them a couple of times and they seem pretty cool, well laid out and, pleasant, nice places to visit. And it looks like they got, Father's Day range stuff. Figured I'd post about that. How could red flag laws be used inappropriately? And then this is Rebecca, again, encouraging or asking people to make a list and then share it, which I thought was a cool way to promote activism and then to get a bunch of different perspectives or different opinions from people, because everybody's going to have their own life history or whatever, their own awareness of what's going on. Pretty cool. Wait a minute. What if I did this? Are you still seeing it, but now you're seeing it behind Instagram? So now you feel like you're better than Instagram, maybe? Sorry, Instagram. YouTube was behind you like this. Now you're behind YouTube, but now YouTube is behind you. So this is how it's going to be for the rest of the show. YouTube can watch Instagram, watch the YouTube channel. And then I thought this was one of the best posts of the week. ga2a.org. So it used to be Georgia Carey. Now it's ga2a.org. And it's just this little icon of a red flag with the word no on it. That's the way we're talking. Like that's one of my favorite ones all week. It just gets the point across, right? So do you even know? This is what's going to be at auction next week at AZ Firearms.
So bring it a little closer and I'll show you how they work. So for Lot 86, it's so-called the Survivor. It does look like a fold-out pocket knife.
I owned one of these. I got a video of it.
But also a fold-out barrel. Revealing, of course, the trigger. This is a 22LR. Very cool to see. Now, moving on, we have a Stinger Manufacturing for pen pistol. Similar concept, but rather than actually serving as a pen the way that serves as a knife, this is 100% all pistol. Does fold out into a traditional profile pistol, also 22LR, little screw out barrel, a little safety there, pretty cool to see. Now, both of these come with their original little belt holsters. The pen pistol does come with a little case for it. For the Survivor, exceedingly rare, they only made 400 of those. A little bit more, but still very rare on the pen pistol. They made 4,275. Not big production numbers by any means. It's certainly very rare, very cool to see. So once again, this is going to be our June 21st auction. We have ammo, we have guns, we have firing accessories. We're always buying and signing all of those things. Be sure to check us out at POGauctions.com, and I will see you later.
If you'll notice, Instagram crapped out on us. So you people, no problem. These people had to crap out. All right, so now it's just back to YouTube. I'll go back to like this. I don't need this at all. And then I can turn this off. Oop, Turns out when you C-clamp your phone to the desk in front of you, it's awkward. So let me get everything back to normal here. All right. Turn that off. Keep going. Yeah, those things are super cool. I owned one of the knives before, so I'll be posting that video again. And then I still own the pen. They're super awesome. So if you've been wanting one of those, you got a rare opportunity to get one or both of those things this coming up on Tuesday. We'll probably watch this Tuesday live because I definitely want to see how much those things go for. So this is Pets for Vets, one of the awesome channels out there. Really cool channel. They're not doing nothing other than posting interesting stuff, mostly funny, humorous kind of stuff to make you smile. And of course, encouraging pets and veterans to hang out together, which is always a good idea. So we've got this old puppy, and it goes, all food must go to the lab for testing. So that's its like custom doggy bag for that puppy. I think that's pretty fucking awesome. Oop. All right, now we get Rebecca again. Let's move this over. Rebecca saying, posting a thing from Everytown, and it says, how dare you? How dare all of you exercise inherent rights? What do you think this is, America? And it goes, Everytown is upset that the USA is a republic and that our individual rights are not subject to mob rule. Sorry, not sorry. This country needs a major education on the Constitution. I'm considering doing some TikToks on the Constitution. So then it has this page from Everytown that has a part circled that says about the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin. This is designed to circumvent the will of voters and rob the American people of the power to protect their communities from gun violence. They're trying to create a new and dangerous unrestricted right to carry guns in public. So, it's sometimes worth the interest. It's worth seeing how they're describing the situations to their supporters, because obviously they want to make it seem like we're crazy. I guess we support violence or something, that guns are only violent. I have no idea, but this is an insight into, how they're relaying it. So this is Come and Talk It, which will be on later on today. It's a radio show out of Texas, out of Austin, Texas. It's a gun shop that does a radio show, and those are the best radio shows. And the host of the radio show and whoever that girl is in the pink pants were the moderators or the hosts, and then those other people in the room were the guests. And they had, I think we said 10 people or something to get all together, 8 people or 10 people. And they just talked about issues, gun issues, for an hour last Sunday. It was super cool. It was very good. And this was one of the parts that's illustrative of how much a dipshit some people are.
There's a heck of a lot of selling going on within Texas over the internet. Go on, I think it's guntrader.com, something like that. People are selling guns over the internet all the time, and they're not federally licensed dealers.
I have to tell you, those gunbroker.com, I go to that, I look at that. Those transactions go to a dealer, and an FFL check is an FFL dealer, and the check is made. They will not ship person to person. Yeah, those websites are not.
Yes, I'm curious if you've ever been through the process. Yes. Okay. I have my license to carry, and I will tell you that I took the class here at Central Texas Gunworks. They gave me a bunch of information, and that is one of the things that I learned, that you actually, when you purchase a gun online, it does go through a dealer. It's not person to person.
You just had an attorney tell you it is. So that was a great segment. And then later they had somebody come on, and when it was that person's time to say something, he went back and emphasized, you people basically that have no idea what you're talking about should not be creating laws for those of us who have not caused any problem. Just because you're too stupid to realize doesn't mean you have the power to abuse others. So next we have so that's Come and Talk It. Again, you can listen to Come and Talk It. The radio show will be on later on today. We'll be linking to it on our channel. Then we got Gun Policy again. Again, they go all over the place with their coverage. So this one is a bunch of different little pictures, and it's telling a little story, and it goes, has some guy who I don't know who it is, we need preemptive confiscations. And then some other doofus goes, that's it, you got yourself a deal. And then there's Wholesome Family Sunday afternoon, some guy and some kid shooting. And then this lady going, my neighbor is an extremist. And then the police being used as a weapon to, take basically property from this guy, maybe smash his stuff or hurt him. And then she gets satisfaction of the police being used as some kind of a tool. But that's an attempt, again, to illustrate how you can weaponize a function that you create by giving the state authority that it didn't have before. Then you get Walk Talk America having that conversation with Sharon about her activism and why she's stepping down. This was on the Guns and Mental Health podcast. So you can't watch this on YouTube. You have to go to a podcast platform and listen to it. But we do have some links to it around. Next up is Guinea again.
This is part 2 of testing my fiance's Olympic shooting knowledge. Hey Connor, what is this?
That's going to be a riser. That's my guess.
Okay, that's not a bad guess, but it's actually a hand stop, so it connects the sling to the gun. Okay, this one?
Looks like it's there to hold something down, so some testing contraption.
Nope, it's a pawn block, so when you shoot standing, it goes on your hand, on your palm.
Looking at it from the wrong angle.
Okay, all right. Okay, apparently we need to give you an easier one. Do you know what this one is?
Mm-hmm. This is the Jimmy Thrasher patented healing world.
Good, very supportive. Yeah, this one.
Cleaning rod.
Okay, so it's a cleaning brush, and you attach it. I'm gonna give you.
So not every kid that's watching TikTok is watching garbage. This is, fun or educational. It's what the kids are watching when they're learning guns nowadays. The young kids, I imagine. So Ginny is a coach and a shooter. So a lot of this is for young shooters that are learning and she's creating kind of a community over there, or at least participating in the community that exists with them young shooters. So it's pretty cool. Let's see. So then we get another one from FPC, doom and gloom in it, with that stupid map. Stop the impending gun apocalypse. And then there's some kind of dumb map with no information on it at all. It's not just happening in Congress. Help us challenge these tyrants on all fronts. Step up, gun apocalypse. So, you know, some of these posts are good, and some of them that looked good, but it didn't offer any information at all. Another one mentioning the interview with Sharon. Then I mentioned that today is the 70th anniversary of our Special Forces, Green Berets. They started out with a bunch of Canadians doing some of the most hardcore of shit, and then basically became educators, one step in the CIA, one step in the Army, taking care of shit that nobody else could do, 12 people at a time. And then taken on multiple roles since then, been completely competent and able throughout that entire time. Let's see, then we got New Jersey. Phil Murphy is pushing hard for more rights violations, 50 caliber ban, harder penalties for 3D printing, 18 to 20-year-olds banned from purchase, and more. So I guess part of that whole gun apocalypse thing, letting people know that all the anti-states are going to be amping it up and revving it up. There's going to be certain people that are going to be content to laugh at them and to say, hey, move. And then realistic people understand that we have obligations, responsibilities, and opportunities in these states. And we can either support, or we can ignore, or we can basically ridicule. Choice is ours. I've seen it all over the years. Scottsdale Gun Club is one of the many gun clubs. I don't need to play this, but one of the many gun clubs offering free shooting for today. So I think I thought I posted to more of those. Maybe I thought I was going to post to more. I don't always hit the little chevron thing when I think I'm going to. But there was a couple of 5 or 6 ranges that I follow that were doing free shooting on Friday, or I mean free shooting for dads today. So thanks to them for that. And hopefully some dads got out to get some trigger time. All right, so how long that lasts? Oh, good, right about an hour, not anywhere near the 2-hour mark. So with that, we'll jump back over. We'll quickly look at whatever some new Instagram stuff is, and that way I can feature some random channels. So my goal on this show is to let you know what's happening on the Instagram so that you don't have to pay attention if you don't want to. Give you a kind of a 1-hour drop on Second Amendment stuff from kind of a shotgun pattern, like all over the place, just the stuff that was cool this week. And then to feature these channels. If I had more ambition and more time, or an intern, I'd probably link to all the channels in the description of the video. Problem is, the reason I don't bother with it, I could be doing it live, or I could have done it ahead of time, is that YouTube hates it when you link over to Instagram in the description of your videos. So if you do it a lot, it's just they don't allow the links to work. So it's just kind of pointless. It's a waste of effort. So I might start doing that over on Patreon, which I use as a blog. And then we can use that to post to some of the other platforms as well. But the goal is to mention these channels. Having the links out there is great, but mentioning them to the folks that might watch something like this or join in live is really the goal, so that you can learn about channels that aren't just wasting your time or trying to get you upset, or people that have been around the block so many times that they know how to exploit. There's lots of people that have been around the block so many times that they're offering to coach and suggesting alternatives to the typical, and that's what we're trying to focus on. So when I dig into this second part here, this is just going to be people I follow. So this will be a lot more selection of stuff and nothing near as focused. So let me refresh. We'll get a new stack of pictures up in here, maybe. So I forget who she is. She's somebody who is, I think, a friend of Alan Anker or somebody. Clearing the Chamber is that girl from Texas. Gun policy is gun policy. No white flag on red flag laws. What does that mean? We couldn't agree more. Okay. And you got Ed's Manifesto, awesome channel. Dude who used to be police in Mexico, I think federal police in Mexico, and now is down here doing his thing, or is up here, I guess, doing his thing. Gray Man Brief, an interesting channel. They offer some insight to news feeds and stories before they break. Mary is one of the girls that was interviewed by Barbecue, and she's the Connecticut Connecticut DC project rep. San Diego gun owners had the gun prom, pretty big event, $100 a pop or something to get in there. So look like they raised some money, hopefully. And give you an idea, looks like everybody's just wearing suits. They're not really wearing all that fancy of clothes, but a fancy dress get together focused on gun owners. I think they do that 3 times a year. Here's USA Shooting. Have them a couple of times because they must have been out shooting, so they usually end up posting a whole bunch of times. So USA Shooting is just the kids that are out there shooting in international competition towards the Olympics, I guess, or well, I guess to better get skill or whatever, but probably for college grants and scholarships and things as well. Then we get Boomstick, one of the people that participates at the Train and Learn event. Got Maj offering a 50% sale on all his stuff at Black Guns Matter for Father's Day. This is the daughter of the guy who owns Car. She used to make chocolate cakes and stuff all the time, and now she rarely posts. But it used to be like her thing was chocolate cakes and all kinds of baking with guns. OG Pumpkin is he's a ranger out of California. Him and some other rangers create these events and have all kinds of community bonding stuff for veterans and people on their way in. So people that are joining the military, mostly Army, and then people coming out. Really cool to see non-government, whatever you call it, like participation in that. He's up to, it said 430 people have gotten the OG Pumpkin tattoos already. So lots of different folks are getting it, changing it to their MOSs and stuff. We grabbed a bunch of the patches when they first came out, when they did a patch run, but kind of a cool, way to, well, if you've been on a ruck march, you know what the deal is. Then we got a couple of channels that just post stuff all the time. Philosopher was posting about her dad. This is the post about this conversation. We got Teresa from New Jersey posting for Tony's 2A4E coming up on June 29th at Recoil Range. Then there's Tony's post, and see what she did is use a third-party repost software to grab Tony's post and hork it over to her channel, and that gets the word out. It gets it into my feed twice. Some kind of road race or something. This is, I don't know why my videos are coming in so small. Probably because I'm watching it on YouTube and they don't want me to be able to see these things, or these Instagram videos. But that's, I think it's a little chicken jumping out of that chicken truck and being like, I'm leaving. She Fires posted the coffee cup earlier, is posting here that she's mostly been training with handguns, and soon she'll be training with this place in Tampa with rifle. She didn't say what rifle though. Guns for Everyone, that organization in Colorado Springs. This is the size of their free concealed carry classes. So 3 classes yesterday. They had 1 in Texas, 1 in Colorado, and I think 1 in Nevada. And this is, I think, the Colorado location. Did everybody see Biden fall off the bike? So people are mercilessly wailing on that. Is that intentional so that people are distracted, or is it just inevitable? And scrolling through, Kate Gunworks out in Massachusetts has a Father's Day 5%, 10%, and 15% incremental discount. Buy one, get one private lessons as well. And we'll be having Tony on tomorrow, Monday, to interview him for our Daily Gun Show podcast. It'll be at a different time so that it works with his schedule. We'll be going live at 6:30 his time, so 3:30 Pacific. The gun store is an awesome range up in Las Vegas, one of the first rental ranges up in Las Vegas. Might be the first time I shot a full auto Thompson. Is it? It's at least the first time I rented a full auto Thompson for sure. Then we have Rifle Dynamics doing a Happy Father's Day for Kalashnikov. At least somebody did it. There was another one I was going to put up that I thought was so funny, but I can't remember how far back it was. So was it this one? Like I said, they're being relentless, but he did fall off a bicycle in front of everybody. Got to say though, he seems like he's the most fit president that we've had in forever, for a long time at least. Lots of Father's Day stuff, and we'll close it with this little tiny miniature Glock box from a friend of ours down in Mexico who makes little tiny guns and tanks and dental instruments. He makes little tiny stuff on his. He's got machines that can make tiny dental instruments, so he makes little guns and stuff also. This one he bought, but he does little stuff like this on his Instagram. Fun channel to watch. It's called Miniatures Lehar. I don't know if that's his name or what, but pretty cool little channel, or pretty cool channel with little stuff on it. He just made this little baton the other day too. All right, well, with that, we're ending this one. Thanks, everybody, for showing. Oh, I guess I could look at these comments. I haven't really been paying attention. I mentioned about how we do this live, and then I'm not even paying attention. So we'll wrap it up with your comments. Woods was out there. He says he's driving around. Thanks for wasting fossil fuels and being a wreck, wreaking havoc on the road. Think about staying home and just minding your business. That's what we should all be doing. Maybe have everything delivered by Amazon, by drones, and then that'll be better for the environment. Electric drones that are powered by wind. See, if the electric drones are powered by wind, as they fly around, they power the fans, which power them. So basically, we don't lose any efficiency. So we should just all stay at home. Everything gets delivered by Amazon. No danger on the roads. We could turn the roads into solar panel areas. All right. So unable to chat, locked in to the comment section. Right on. CNT is out there. Good afternoon. Mario joining us. Thank you. Mike saying hey from California also. And G23. Everybody on the West Coast out here. The best coast is the West Coast, as they say. I've heard that Lake City is not cutting down production on 556 and that the 30% reduction on 223 is not true. I don't know how true any of this is. This is Mike. Yeah, you know what? I believe that's why I don't try to focus on any of that stuff. One, it perpetrates the looky-loo mentality that we're just a bunch of idiots that look at everything instead of just doing our thing and, you know, paying attention because it's important, but not worrying about every little distraction, like every barking dog or whatever. Plus, it wastes everybody's time, right? Like, so now a bunch of brain power and a bunch of time and effort got spent worrying about something that may or may not even be true. So a little bit of prediction is okay, but jumping on everything leads to jumping on everything, right? So I try not to jump on nothing so that you're ready when necessary. You want to still be able to jump, but be discretionary about it. They were saying this is just fear-mongering. It's exploitation. It is people who are willing to make a buck and need the views. You know, when you need views, you're willing to make it, you know, you'll have a different opinion of what's important. Let's put it that way. Smeggy's out there. Good afternoon. I don't like not having the context. Okay. I missed that, so I don't have the context of that, and I don't like it. Then everybody's saying hello to everybody. Also the dads. Does being a dog dad count? No. Although Mike White says that does count. Some random island country with 100 people banned guns and crime went away. But yeah, exactly. Like a weird statistics that they compare on. But again, we're living in a time when it's going to be more and more difficult for them to ignore the fact that they said some of this craziness, to justify any of it. And the new politicians, the next breed, gets to start fresh with an awareness and a competency that none of the others can hide from, that the others don't have, and they can't hide from their lack of it. Funny how they never compare us to places like Mexico or Brazil. Maggie saying, yeah, exactly. I don't know about Brazil, but maybe Venezuela, but Brazil, I guess, too. Brazil is pretty far down there. Nobody ever compares us to Brazil. I mean, I don't think we've ever been compared to Brazil, but I think Venezuela is closer to our amount of oil resources or something like that. But I don't know. That would be an interesting conversation for people that say there's no conversations to be had. Which country would be the best to compare the United States with for whatever facet or whatever, right? I like She Fires. I like She Fires also. 19 thumbs up. Thank you very much. Echo also. the jams, but also very active on the YouTubes, creating a community for people who are interested in reloading and chatting about calibers and ammunition, along with AR guns. Thanks for doing that on the regular. And as well as G23, posting on the regular long format conversations about guns on Saturday afternoons, joining in on other shows and being the co-host on Wednesdays with Chris as well. Everybody saying hello to each other. Then saw this on IG. That's when I came over here. Good. So you mean the stream? I ran the stream on IG as long as I could. I guess I'll continue to do that next week as well. I don't think on Instagram. I don't think unless people are following you for the live. I don't think too many people live stream on Instagram. Or how am I saying? You either live stream on Instagram or you don't, and your audience either watches live streams or they don't. So I think if you do live stream, you create an audience of people on Instagram that watch live streams. But if you don't live stream, you get a bunch of people in your audience that don't watch live streams, because I don't see too much crossover there. The people that do the live stuff on Instagram almost never participate in other stuff, or rarely participate. And certainly the people that live stream on Instagram are almost never even on YouTube. So this is an attempt to kind of cross promote, I guess, or kind of cross transm, whatever that's called. Let's see. Then we got everybody saying hello to each other some more. DJ jumped in and then left. And then who needs AC? I'm just using a fan. No AC here. It's not that hot here today. It's only like 100. Then I had IG. When I had IG, it was great for getting and sharing info and promoting my YouTube channel and other interesting channels. And then I had to try to find Maj email address so I could get him on the panel. Yeah, I bet you. Well, I was going to say you could probably contact him through Instagram, but that's frustrating. But I don't know what his email address is either. Trying to think of who would have that even, or if it's on his website. But that's a good question. All right, so with that, I think we'll wrap this one up. It ended up being about 90 minutes, so a little bit shorter than last week. I don't really count the posts. I don't really pay attention as I'm going through, but as I'm going through the week, I tag them with that. Oh, what happened here? I tag them with the little chevron looking thing, which places them into my, whatever that's called, my shared folder. And then on Sundays, we go through that shared folder and talk about what we saved. So give us some feedback. If you're listening to this on the video or on one of the podcast platforms, it lets us know where we should post it and lets us know you're out there. Thanks again for watching and listening. We'll throw a commercial out here for our Gear website store, which is always got free patches included in each order.
Episode. Nobody beats the house.
GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
Tonight's episode, photo finish.
Thank you for supporting our projects. If you'd like to buy us a cup of coffee, check out our Patreon channel.
The guys and gals at gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thank you for watching gunwebsites.com. Do 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 do.